Alright, personally, my favorite series that we do on the channel is the portfolio updates every month where I share my buys, sells, how I've changed as an investor, and my dividends every single month. And over time, it's a great way to journal my progress. In 20 years, when I'm up 10x on my target stock, it'll be great to look back at these times when I was buying on the dip. And on this channel, I believe and I promote full transparency every single month, including my losses and lessons that I learn every month. Unlike some YouTubers like Jeremy. So if you appreciate that, make sure to hit that subscribe button for me. Also, if you want to go the extra mile and you want exclusive episodes, a stock market competition, and so many other awesome perks, make sure to become a channel member today. The link in the description. With all that out of the way, roll the intro.
Prestige worldwide. Wow.
I like money.
Alright, as per usual, I'll go over my current portfolio value, including my gains, losses, all that. So right now, my entire portfolio value, including my cash position, is $19,120.57, with $318 being that in cash. You guys would know right now, as an investor, I think one of the big ways I need to grow is by being way more conservative with how I spend my cash and being really smart with it, especially when the winter months, my income is going to be going down a little bit unless we get monetized here very soon. Right now, overall on my portfolio, my total gain is just over $1,000, sitting at 5.8%. This is underperforming. This is because obviously I have a lot of stocks that are underperforming the market, like 3M, Disney, NextEra Energy, and some others that we'll go over today. I don't know if that 5.8% is totally accurate. It may be lower than what it actually is, since my Schwab account just transferred literally like in May. So I don't know if that's from May or if it's from total. I'm going to assume that 5.8% is just straight up from May. I think it is, since that's when it exported. So our total return is actually much higher than that. That 5.8% isn't from the total return, it's just from capital appreciation. So I'm assuming our total return right now is from 8 to 10%, but I'm definitely being a lot more picky with the stocks that I'm buying. Thankfully, this month we pretty much not had any crazy buying opportunities on any companies, so I've been fairly easy to be conservative with my capital right now, but I'm being way more conservative, as I mentioned, and as you guys would know in the Discord, I'm not buying as much stuff as I really used to, and if I do, it's in smaller increments. So I'm liking where my cash position is at right now. I'm looking to build up between like $400, $500 worth of cash for this winter, and then of course, if you smash the like button, subscribe, maybe we get monetized on YouTube. I could put some money from YouTube into the portfolio. Hopefully, we're holding our fingers that happens, but definitely the goal for the portfolio right now is just finding really high quality companies to invest in. As you guys can probably see, my investment, projected dividend income is it's been lower. It's been pretty much stagnant for the last couple months. This is because I'm obviously selling out of some of those lower quality, high yield companies and putting into some really high quality companies that may not have the biggest dividend, which I'm completely fine with. Over time, I'll outperform. I still have the goal of getting $100 in dividends in December, and I don't know if we can hit it. I'm hoping we can. I'm being optimistic, but I'm not going to rush it, of course. Alright, let's move on to the dividends that I got for August of 2023. Now, August is kind of one of those months. It's a weird month. Not many companies pay out, but the companies that actually do pay out pay much larger than I regularly get. So to start off the month, we got $4.02 from Realty, not Reality Income. This was the first ever time that I got back-to-back payments from the same exact company. Last dividend I got in July was from Realty Income on the 15th, and the first one I got this month was from Realty Income. That's pretty cool to see. Then I got my last dividend ever from Hasbro's, $2.29 from them. We'll talk about that. I did sell out of my Hasbro position. And then we got a juicy $10.06 from AbbVie, stock ticker ABBV. AbbVie's one of the best dividend growing pharma companies in the world right now, and a lot of people are against pharma and they think they get a lot of skeletons in the closet, which is true at the same time, but it's a great quality company. AbbVie has been known for paying a juicy, high yield, and aggressively growing dividend, but there are some questions of how they'll be able to sustain that level of growth, because their Humira drug, they're obviously going to be losing some money on that. Their free cash flow looks like it could take a potential dip, but I think long term they've found other ways in other business segments to grow in that will replace those losses. So long term, I'm still confident in AbbVie. Next, we got a whopping $2.18 from Apple. Now, I talked about Apple in my last video. You can check that out top right corner, but they're spending a lot of money right now on capital expenditures, share buybacks, which I think is actually the right move for the company right now. If you bought Apple in 2013, you would own so much more of the company just looking at how many shares they bought back. They bought back nearly over 40% of shares since then. Now, Apple's dividend is nothing really to write home about. They grow pretty much in line, a little above inflation, that 5-6% range. I'm hoping that long term Apple can grow out some crazy dividend growth once they spend it all on capital expenditures and share buybacks, of course. Right now, though, I love Apple as a company a lot. I think their research and development is incredible. I think the way that they can just go into any sector and pretty much dominate. Apple is definitely one of my favorite companies for sure. Speaking of favorite companies, I think this next one tops it. It's of course Starbucks, stock ticker SBUX, and I got $7.15 from Starbucks, and I reinvested that at a really good price at $96.88, which for Starbucks I think is a really solid price to reinvest back at. I love Starbucks so much as a company. I think right now they're being traded a little under what their fair value could potentially be if China growth is really what it is. If Starbucks trades down the low 90s, even the 80s, I'm going to be buying a lot more. And lastly, for this month, we got $3.36 from UPS, which I reinvested as well. UPS is trading down today, so it's a good time to reinvest. I'm doing more research on UPS at the moment before I really want to buy more. I think it looks a little undervalued right now, but I'm doing more research currently on them at the moment. Overall for the month, I got $29.06 from dividends. This is up $5 from last payment period for these companies in May. I'm very happy with this month for dividends overall. I'm happy to see my AbbVie and Starbucks dividends growing. I reinvested at some really solid prices this month, especially with AbbVie, Starbucks, and UPS. Don't get me wrong, Realty Income also reinvested at a really nice price in my opinion. So overall, the next really big month will be September for me. I'm curious to see. I think I could hit that $80 month this mark. And then December will be a big month. I think we can hit $100 that month. This month when it comes to dividends, I'm really eyeing personally SCHD, how much they pay out. That's going to be really interesting. Also, Disney is set to resume paying a dividend sometime late this year. I'm really curious to see where that pans out. Alright, now let's get into my buys and sells this month. And this is going to be a highly anticipated segment. Alright, to start the month off, I sold my entire Hasbro position, which was 3 shares at $75, aka a 27% loss. This was what I like to call band-aid ripping on the channel. Band-aid ripping was an analogy that me and Rezi came up with on the Discord. It's basically when you're holding on to these companies with the hope potentially they could go up later on. And typically these companies are lower quality, just companies ideally that we aren't buying today. Maybe we bought them in the past for some reason, just holding out of the companies, hoping they can go up sometime in the future. So I ripped the band-aid on this one with Hasbro. Where did I go wrong in my investment thesis? It was one of the first stocks I ever bought. I didn't really understand the business. I didn't look at anything when I bought it. Now with my losses, and when I sell a stock, I usually look to allocate the capital elsewhere where I think I can make that return up over the long term, or upgrade the position itself into a higher quality company that I think over the long term will make up for that loss. So with that money, I bought 2 shares of Texas Roadhouse at $110.25. Texas Roadhouse, you guys already know. I've done months of research on this company. I really like their financials. They do pay a growing dividend. They're hopefully buying back shares soon. They bought back 3% of shares last year. With Texas Roadhouse, I like where I bought the company at. I think it's pretty much fair value near that $120 mark. Currently, it's trading at $103, and I would like to buy more, but here's the thing. I can't buy fractional shares on companies that aren't in the S&P 500, and unfortunately, Texas Roadhouse is not in the S&P 500. So I would have to spend over 33% of my cash just to buy one share and get my average per share down. So if it goes subpar 100, if it really is an appealing deal for me, I'll buy down, but it would have to go on a pretty sizable dip. I'm looking for this to be a smaller to medium sized position at the moment, but I do think under $100 I would probably have to add more. Next I bought 1 share of Vici at $30.84. I thought this is a really solid price for Vici. Vici gives me really good growth real estate exposure compared to like Realty Income, which is much more slow growing. Vici is set to hike that dividend payment this coming September, and I'm really curious to see how much they hike it. Next I put $25 in a Target. Nobody wants to be near Target right now, and I believe I've done a really good job with my investment thesis on it, doing research of why the company down and more. As you guys know, I believe Target's a very cyclical business. If you want to see how I went really deep into Target, my investment thesis, everything on that, check out my Target stock video, top right, or the link in the description. Next, I put $25 in a Visa at $234. I believe this fair price for Visa, and I'm happy to get it at a fair price. Such a high quality company. Visa also just announced that they would be increasing their price hikes and rate fees. Next, I put $25 in a Waste Management, $159.75. Waste Management doesn't go on a dip very much, but I saw it go below 160, and I thought it would be a good time to kind of average into Waste Management again. Such a high quality company, and obviously trades at a premium. Next, I put $40 in a Starbucks at $98.05. This is just hopefully the first of many buys if Starbucks goes on a dip eventually. I'm happy at the price I got it at. I view it as buying it company at a fair price. Maybe a little undervalued compared to the restaurant stocks right now, but I'm happy at the price I got it at, and I'm happy to buy more. And lastly, I resumed my dollar cost averaging in a Costco and put $25 in a Costco just this week at $533.20. Costco went on a bit of a dip, and it re-entered that price range, so I would resume my dollar cost averaging. That's the portfolio update. Hopefully this next month I'll get a lot in dividends, so I'm looking forward to sharing that with you next month. If you don't want to wait every month to see my buys, sells, dividends, join the Discord link in the description. On to the channel update now. Now this is huge, guys. We are very close to hitting the watch hours for the second tier monetization, which is the really big one. That's the goal that I've been setting out for the last year. That was my goal, obviously, when I started this year, and when I really started the channel overall. So we are like 60 or maybe 80 watch hours away from hitting it. So by the time this video is out, it may even have hit. Overall, though, this is gonna be the last upload pretty much before school starts. So it's gonna be a sad one, guys. You know, I did everything I said I would this summer. I put everything I had into YouTube, and it paid off. It paid dividends, you could even say. I just worked really hard this summer, and I hope it shows others that if you put your mind to something, you innovate a little bit, and you really dedicate your mind to it, you can do it. It was a great summer overall. I met a lot of great new people, did a lot of things that got out of my comfort zone a little bit. Very successful operation. Right now we're making a little off of YouTube. If you want to see how much I really do make on YouTube, you'll have to become a channel member. Link in the description, of course. I think one of the coolest perks is seeing the quarterly reports that I'm coming out with. The first one will come out after September. Basically outline all my goals, growth for the channel, growth that we saw, where I think we can grow, and where every dollar is going that I get from you guys. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Alright, thank you for making it into the video. Really appreciate it. If you haven't already, smash the like button, subscribe, become a member, link in the description, and of course, do dividend stocks, not drugs. Have a good one.